Welcome to Exmark's Safety and Operations Training video, and thanks for taking an active role in maintaining a safe operating environment. In this video, we will discuss what you need to do before you mow, while you're mowing, and after you mow in order to maximize your safety, minimize your downtime, and increase your productivity. Feel free to pause or stop the tape at any time and practice the described material. The operator's manual is like any other tool in the shop and should be used as such. Before using your Exmark walk-behind, familiarize yourself with the manual, which will provide you with a more detailed description of the contents of this video. Please remember that this video does not replace your operator's manual. If you have questions regarding the Exmark walk-behind you are using, please refer to the manual, contact your supervisor, or call your Exmark dealer. Before operating any walk-behind, there are several things you need to know to help ensure your safety and extend the life of your Exmark mower. Proper work attire is important. It allows you to convey a professional image to the public and helps protect your body from potential injury. Be sure to review your company's policy for all necessary safety apparel. Proper safety apparel may include the following items. Wearing eye protection at all times is recommended. Hearing protection is required when the mower is running. It is unsafe to wear a radio or tape CD player when operating this type of equipment. They do not provide adequate hearing protection and may distract the operator. Instead, be sure to wear the foam-type earplugs or the wrap-around earmuff style hearing protectors. Wear boots with good ankle support and soles that provide good traction on all types of terrain. Tennis shoes, low tops, sandals, and other soft sole shoes do not provide adequate protection and should not be worn. Many companies do not require you to wear a hard hat when operating our mowers, but you may want to wear a hat or baseball cap to protect yourself from the sun. Wear heavy-duty gloves when changing blades or when otherwise necessary. The controls on your Exmark walk-behind include drive levers, neutral lock latches, park brake, mechanical blade engagement, electric clutch blade engagement, operator presence control levers, fuel shutoff valve, throttle choke control, throttle choke kill control, remote choke, off-run switch, ignition switch, hour meter, drive wheel release valves or dump valves, transmission shift lever, speed control lever, tracking adjustment knob, cold start kit. On all Exmark mowers, there are several different warning labels, and it's important that you familiarize yourself with each label. Danger indicates an imminently hazardous situation, which, if not avoided, will result in death or serious injury. Warning indicates a potentially hazardous situation, which, if not avoided, could result in death or serious injury. Caution indicates a potentially hazardous situation, which, if not avoided, may result in a minor or moderate injury. The safety or OPC system is an important part of any quality constructed lawnmower. It's critical that you know what it does, how to check to make sure it's functioning, and what to do if it is not working correctly. The OPC system is a series of switches that are designed to help protect the operator from potential harm. It is absolutely necessary for the operator to check it daily. Checking the OPC system can help reduce potential liability resulting from property damage or injury to the operator and bystanders. On the Metro 21, there are few safety systems to check. However, it is still important that you complete them to make sure the systems are functioning properly. First, start your self-propelled Metro 21. Connect the spark plug wire. Open the fuel valve. Move the throttle to choke. For self-propelled models, shift the ground speed control to the neutral position. Lift the control bail to the handle and hold it in place. With a cold engine, pull the recoil rope lightly until you feel resistance. Next, Pull the recoil rope sharply. The engine should start. Move the throttle from the choke position. Regulate the throttle and ground speed as desired. After the mower is started, check to make sure that the safety system is functioning. To check the safety system on a self-propelled Recoil Start Metro 21, with the control bail in the neutral position, shift the ground speed control into gear. 1 is slow, 2 is medium, and 3 is fast. On self-propelled models, the control bail located on the handle assembly of the Recoil Start Metro 21 has 3 positions: a drive position, a neutral position, and an engine stop or kill position. After shifting your Metro 21 into gear, move the control bail to the drive position. While mowing, release the control bail. On a standard self-propelled unit, the engine and blade should stop. After releasing the control bail on a self-propelled unit equipped with a blade brake clutch or BBC, the blade and wheel drive should stop moving. For more information about checking the blade brake clutch on a Metro 21, please refer to the operator's manual. Before starting your walk-behind, you must have the blades off, the transmission or speed control lever in neutral, and the fuel valve open. Before you check the OPC system on your Recoil Start Exmark walk-behind, you must start the engine. To start the engine, clear the area. If applicable, turn the key switch to the run position. With a cold engine, place the throttle to the choke position. For a 15 or 17 horsepower Kawasaki, pull out the remote choke located near the engine. Now, pull the recoil rope to start the engine. After the engine starts, move the throttle out of the choke position or depress the choke knob. In colder climates, the operator may want to use the cold start kit found on our Recoil Start Hydro walk-behinds. This will allow you to bypass the hydro system, which will make it easier to pull start when the fluid is thick. To use this feature, pull the split ring out from the side of the unit and hook the ring around the bolt on the lower front hydro control. After the unit starts, pull the ring off the bolt and slowly release the tension. Once the hydro fluid is warm, you should not need to use the cold start kit. Now check the OPC system. Set the throttle to 1/2 and check to make sure that the thumb latches and drive levers are in the neutral lock position. With the park brake off, shift the transmission into gear or move the speed control lever out of neutral. Release the OPC levers. The engine must stop. After completing this check, restart the engine. Set the throttle to 1/2. Check to make sure that the speed control lever or transmission is in neutral. Turn the blades on. Release the OPC levers. The engine must stop. In order to start your electric start walk-behind, you must have the fuel valve open, the blades off, the OPC levers depressed, and the speed control lever in neutral. To start the engine, set the throttle to 1/2. For a cold engine, pull the choke out or move the throttle to the choke position. Turn the ignition switch to the start position, which should allow the engine to turn over. Once the engine starts, release the switch. Gradually move the throttle from the choke position or depress the choke after the engine warms up. To check the OPC system, take the park brake off. With the drive levers in the neutral lock position, move the speed control lever out of neutral. Release the OPC levers. The engine must stop. After completing that check, restart the engine. With the speed control lever in neutral, turn the blades on. Release the OPC levers. The engine must stop. If your Exmark walk-behind does not pass any of these tests, do not operate the unit. Contact your authorized Exmark service dealer or your supervisor. It is essential that the safety mechanisms are connected and in proper operating condition. Never attempt to bypass any of the OPC systems. If you want to increase your productivity and decrease your downtime, this maintenance program is something you should make part of your daily routine. It only takes a few minutes to complete, saves you money, and gives you the peace of mind in knowing that you've taken the basic precautions to keep your Exmark running for many hours. The items we will cover closely follow the progression of the periodic maintenance section in your operator's manual. Please take out your operator's manual at this time and follow along. Remember, oil acts not only as a lubricant, but also as a cooling agent for your engine. Running the engine with an oil level at the bottom of the F or full mark can make a 20 to 40 degree difference in the operating temperature of the engine. This places unnecessary stress on your engine and may cause severe damage to its components. To check the engine oil level, please follow these steps. Make sure your Exmark walk-behind is stopped and on a level surface. With a cold engine, check the oil. Clean the area around the dipstick. Remove the dipstick and wipe the oil off. Reinsert the dipstick until it contacts the threads. Screwing it into place is not necessary. Remove the dipstick and check the oil level. If it is low, add the correct oil as specified in the engine owner's manual to bring the level up to the F or full mark on the dipstick. When adding oil, frequently check the level with the dipstick to avoid overfilling the engine. Very few components on a lawnmower work harder or are more subject to damage than your mower blades. Sharp blades are a necessity if you want to cut a lot of grass fast without sacrificing the quality of cut. It is important that you check to make sure your blades are sharp, straight, balanced, and free of any nicks or cracks. It only makes sense to inspect them daily. To remove the blades on a fixed deck walk-behind like the Metro, complete the following steps. With the deck raised and properly secured, remove the belt cover or locate the hole on the top of the belt cover through which you may access the nut of the blade bolt. Place an impact wrench or breaker bar on the head of the blade bolt. Place a wrench on the nut of the blade bolt. Loosen the bolt with the impact or breaker bar. Be sure to hold on to the top nut, spacers, and flat washer. With the blade bolt loose, grab the top nut, spacers, and flat washer and set them aside. Remove the blade bolt. Pull the spacers from the bolt. Remove the blade. Repeat this process for the remaining blades. To remove the blades on a floating deck walk-behind, like the Turf Tracer HP, lift the deck and secure it in a raised position. Firmly clamp a locking pliers to the rear baffle. Make sure that the blade cannot spin freely by moving the blade so it contacts the locking pliers. Place an impact wrench or breaker bar on the blade bolt. With this spindle design, placing a wrench on the top nut of the spindle assembly is not recommended. Doing so can loosen the clamp load on the spindle assembly, which will cause bearing failure. While keeping your hands away from the blade, use the impact wrench or breaker bar to remove the blade. Repeat this process for the remaining blades. Inspect the blades. If necessary, balance and sharpen or replace them as required. New customers often ask what a blade balancer is and what it means to have an unbalanced blade. An unbalanced blade is any blade in which the distribution of its weight from one side to the other is not equal. And a blade balancer is an inexpensive tool that allows you to gauge how out of balance a blade is. Balancing your blades is important to the life of your Exmark mower. If you choose not to balance your blades, the excessive vibration from the unbalanced blades can cause damage to the spindle assemblies, the deck, the blades, and other parts of the mower. For more information about blade balancers, please contact your local Exmark dealer. After you sharpen and balance the blades, reinstall them. For a fixed deck unit, be sure the spring disc washer cone is installed toward the bolt head. Place the blade on the blade bolt. Make sure that the correct side of the blade is up. Next, place the spacers on the blade bolt. Insert the blade bolt through the spindle assembly. While holding the head of the bolt, reinstall the flat washer, spacers, and the top nut. Make sure that the flat washer is first, followed by the spacers and the top nut. Hand tighten the nut. Place a wrench on the top nut and an impact or breaker bar on the blade bolt. Snug the blade bolt up. Finish tightening the blade bolt with a torque wrench. Torque it to 75 to 80 foot-pounds. Repeat this process for the remaining blades. For a floating deck walk-behind, be sure the spring disc washer cone is installed toward the bolt head. Place the blade on the blade bolt. Make sure that the correct side of the blade is up. Hand tighten the blade bolt. Lubricating the threads of the bolt or spindle assembly is not advised. Make sure that the blade cannot spin freely by moving the blade so it contacts the locking pliers. Using an impact wrench or breaker bar, snug the bolt up. Finish tightening the blade bolt with a torque wrench. Torque the blade bolts to 115 to 120 foot-pounds. Failure to correctly torque the blade bolt can cause the bolt to self-tighten when you strike an object with the blades engaged. Repeat this process for the remaining blades. If you use an impact wrench to change your blades on a floating deck Exmark walk-behind, it is a good practice to periodically check the torque on the top nut of the spindle assembly, which is located above the deck. Torque the top nut to 75 to 85 foot-pounds. Failure to do so may cause a loss of clamp load to the spindle assembly. The best times to refuel are either in the morning or at the end of the day when the unit is cool. This ensures that you will not have to refuel on the job site. If you must refuel in the field, refuel the unit outdoors, and when practical, move the unit off the trailer. If you cannot take the mower off the trailer, keep the fuel nozzle in contact with the rim of the fuel tank opening until the refueling is complete to avoid a static charge. Never smoke while refueling. Make sure that you are using an approved safety container with a proper cap installed to prevent spillage, and if necessary, you may want to use a funnel to minimize the chance of spillage. Once the unit is off the trailer, the gas cap is off the tank and the funnel is in place, use the approved gas can to fuel the tank. When fueling the tank, make sure that the fuel level is at least 1/2 inch below the bottom of the filler neck. This will allow for gas expansion and will help prevent fuel spillage when mowing. If you spill fuel when filling the tank, allow the area to dry and make sure that the fuel vapors have dissipated before restarting. Please take some time to review some important safety information in the preparation portion of the safety section in the front of your operator's manual. Pay close attention to the 2 boxed danger sections and the warning section that follows. Do not fuel your unit before reading this information. Dirt ingestion is the #1 cause of engine failure. Over time, dirt ingestion can cause the engine to lose power and increase its oil consumption. You can reduce the premature onset of these problems by following these guidelines. Remove the air cleaner cover. Take the foam pre-cleaner and the paper filter from the plastic assembly. Remove the remainder of the assembly and clean any loose grass and debris by tapping it out. Carefully take the foam pre-cleaner from the paper filter. Wash the foam pre-cleaner with warm water and detergent and rinse it clean. Squeeze all of the excess water from the foam. Wringing the excess water from the pre-cleaner is not recommended. Let the pre-cleaner air dry or pat it dry with a clean towel. Saturate it with oil. If you have several pre-cleaners, you can saturate them, throw the pre-cleaners in a plastic bag, and work them around with your hand. Squeeze the excess oil out using shop towels or rags. If the field conditions are extremely dusty, you can take the pre-cleaners with you and swap the dirty pre-cleaner with a clean one. While the pre-cleaner is drying, clean the paper element. Tap the paper element gently to shake as much dirt out of the filter as possible. Do not wash or use pressurized air to clean it. This may deteriorate or damage the paper element. Replace the element with a new one if it is dirty, bent, or damaged. Finally, reinstall the plastic assembly, the paper element, and the pre-cleaner. Place the cover over the air cleaner and secure it. For more specific information on air cleaner maintenance, please review your engine operator's manual. Having the correct tire pressure is critical to the performance of your Exmark in many ways. Incorrect tire pressure can affect the following. Tracking. If you have too much or too little air in any one of the tires, the mower may pull or track to one side or the other. Quality of cut. Incorrect tire pressure may negatively affect the quality of cut, especially when mowing on hillsides or when making turns. Be sure to have a tire pressure gauge with you when mowing so you can check the air pressure in the tires. Foam filling the tires on your Exmark walk-behind is not recommended. The excessive weight and decreased shock absorption capability created by solid-filled tires may cause damage to the hydro drive system, frame, and other components. Foam filling the tires will affect your warranty coverage. To check the tire pressure on your walk-behind, stop the engine and use the pressure gauge. The recommended rear tire pressure for all walk-behinds is 12 to 16 psi. Measure the circumference of each drive tire. Adjust the tire pressures within the psi range to make the tire circumferences match as closely as possible. This will help keep the mower tracking straight and is especially important to check on the belt drive units. For the front pneumatic tires on the Turf Tracer, the recommended pressure is 16 psi. The front tires on the Metro, Metro HP, Viking Hydro, and Turf Tracer HP are semi-pneumatic and do not require any air pressure. Earlier models may be converted to the semi-pneumatic tires. If you have an earlier model walk-behind with the pneumatic tires, set the pressure to 22 psi. It is necessary to clean the engine cooling system because excessive debris can cause the engine to overheat. When cleaning the cooling system, stop the engine and clean all debris from the engine air intake screen and around the engine shrouding. Always follow the recommendations listed in the engine operator's manual for cleaning the cooling system. Always check the condition of the belts, pulleys, and idlers, both stationary and spring-loaded. All belts are subject to wear and deterioration due to heat, sunlight, and chemicals. Other contributing factors to premature belt wear include pulley and idler misalignment, insufficient lubrication for the spring-loaded idlers, and having a large amount of grass and debris packed around the idler spring. Inspect the belts for cracking, glazing, and fraying, and check to make sure that large chunks are not missing from the belt. It is especially important to check the belt tension of the engine-to-cutter deck belt after the first hour of operation and at least twice during the first 24 hours of operation on your Metro or Viking Hydro. You can easily check the tension with a scale, a small piece of nylon rope, and a tape measure. Please follow these steps. Remove the belt cover. With the engine off, move the blade engagement lever to the on position. This will put tension on the deck drive belt. Take a short piece of nylon rope and tie a loop on each end. Place the tape measure on the top of the deck so that the lines of the tape are parallel with the drive belt. Grab the scale and loop the rope around the belt. Take that hook end of the scale and loop it through both ends of the rope. Pull straight back on the scale a ½ inch. Be sure that you are not pulling up or pushing down on the belt or scale. This may affect the accuracy of the reading. Now read the scale. You should have 10 pounds of pull on the belt. If you have a higher or lower reading on the scale, make an adjustment to the turnbuckle by loosening the whiz-lock nut and turning the turnbuckle. After you have made your adjustment, tighten the whiz-lock nut. Now recheck the belt tension. If you have a Metro HP or a Turf Tracer HP, be sure to inspect the PTO Clutching Belt tension every 2 hours for the first 8 hours of operation, and then every 40 hours thereafter. Stop the engine and move the blade engagement lever to the on position. This will put tension on the PTO Clutching Belt. Look through the round hole in the left rear corner of the engine deck. The bolt on the blade engagement linkage bell crank and the indicator arm should align within 1/16 of an inch. If an adjustment is needed, please refer to the Adjustments section of your operator's manual. It is necessary to check the brake and wheel drive linkage adjustment. If the brake and wheel drive linkage are out of adjustment, this may negatively affect the stopping and turning abilities of your Exmark walk-behind. To adjust the park brakes on the belt drive mower, move the drive levers to the park brake position. Try to pull the mower backwards. It should not roll. If it does, Readjust the brakes by turning the wing nut on the upper end of each brake rod. Please note that it is important to only adjust the brake pressure just enough to keep the tires from moving backwards. Now check to make sure that the mower does not roll freely. After checking the park brake, move the drive levers to the neutral lock position. The mower should roll forward and backwards freely. Severe damage often occurs to a professional landscaper's equipment while the units are on a trailer and being transported to and from the job site. Although our walk-behinds come standard with a park brake, it is still necessary to properly secure all equipment on your trailer. Many states have adopted laws which require you to properly strap or chain your mower to the trailer. Failure to do so can result in costly fines and damage to either your equipment or someone else's property. In order to extend the life of your equipment and reduce the likelihood of receiving a fine, please follow these guidelines. Use a heavy-duty trailer or truck to transport the machine. Be sure that the trailer has all necessary lighting and markings as required by law, and always use the safety chains. Before loading the mower, wait until the blades have come to a complete stop, and if necessary, raise the discharge chute to give you more space to maneuver it onto the trailer. To load your walk-behind, carefully drive your mower up the ramp. Be sure to hold the deck up slightly so you don't hook the bottom of the blade bolt on the drop-down trailer ramp. Over time, these impacts can damage the spindles, deck, or blades. After the unit is positioned on the trailer, put the mower into neutral and apply the park brake. Failure to do so can damage the transmission on the belt drive walk-behind. Stop the engine and securely fasten the machine to the trailer with straps, chains, cables, or ropes. When unloading your unit, please follow these steps. When possible, drive the unit down the trailer. If you must back the unit off the trailer, make sure that no one is behind you before backing. Please note that belt drive mowers are more likely to roll or freewheel down the trailer ramp. Use the brakes to slow the unit as it comes off the trailer. After the unit is off the trailer, put the discharge chute down before mowing. It is important that you conduct a site inspection before mowing to familiarize yourself with the terrain. Avoid any oversaturated ground and use extreme caution when mowing near ponds, lakes, rivers, or streams. Pick up any objects that the mower could project into the air. If you find any hidden hazards like stumps, pipes, or concrete obtrusions, flag them to steer clear of danger. Before mowing, there are several things you should do to keep your Exmark walk-behind working properly. For example, before mowing, you may have to adjust the cutting height of your Exmark walk-behind mower. To change the cutting height on your Metro 21, you must adjust each wheel individually with the wheel height adjustment lever. The cutting heights vary in 1/2 inch increments from 3/4 of an inch to 3 1/4 inches. Pull the wheel height adjustment lever toward the wheel and move it to the desired setting. Release the adjustment lever and make sure that it's set securely in the notch. Adjust all the wheels to the same cutting height. By adjusting the axle position, the number of spacers below the front casters, and the number of 1/4 inch blade spacers below the spindle, you can adjust the cutting height of your fixed deck walk-behind from 1 inch to 4 1/4 inches. To change the cutting height on your Metro or Viking Hydro, determine what position your axle is in. Using the cutting height adjustment chart as a guide, choose a new cutting height. Change the position of the 1/4 inch blade spacers. To change the blade spacer position, remove the blade. Change the position of the blade spacers to correspond with the desired height setting. Reinstall the blade. Repeat this process with the other blades. Remember, the same number of blade spacers must be used on all blades to achieve a level cut. If necessary, change the position of the 4 1/2 inch spacers and the 1 3/16 inch spacer on the front casters. To do this, properly raise and secure the deck. Remove the quick pin. Pull the caster from the front caster support and change the position of the spacers. Reinsert the caster into the front caster support. If necessary, replace the remaining spacers on the top of the front caster support. Finally, replace the quick pin. Repeat this process for the other caster. If you must cut higher or lower than what the blade and caster spacers allow, it is necessary to adjust the rear axle height position. For more information on how to change the rear axle height, please review the Adjustments section of the Operator's Manual. If you have a floating deck walk-behind, like a Metro HP, Turf Tracer, or Turf Tracer HP, adjusting the cutting height is quick and easy. To adjust the cutting height, simply follow the cutting height adjustment decal located on the top of the mower deck. First, lift the handle welded to the top of the cutting deck. Next, pull the hairpin on the deck support pin. Finally, put the hairpin back in the desired cutting height hole. Repeat this process for the remaining 3 pins. Check to make sure that all the pins are in the same hole. After you change the cutting height, it is sometimes necessary to adjust the height of the anti-scalp rollers. To adjust the height of the anti-scalp rollers for normal operating conditions, stop the engine and remove the key. Remove the mounting hardware and place the bolt in one of the 4 hole positions that corresponds with the height setting of the deck. Be sure that the nuts and bolts are installed with the spring disc washer between the head of the bolt and mounting bracket. Torque the bolt to 40 to 45 foot-pounds or you may lose the roller. Rollers should maintain a 3/4 inch clearance to the ground to minimize gouging and roller wear or damage. For maximum deck flotation, place them 1 hole position lower. The rollers should not contact the ground at all times. They are a safeguard against scalping and are not meant to support the deck. Adjusting the rollers to support the deck may shorten their lifespan. You may also discover streaks in the grass where the rollers laid the grass down before the mower blades could cut it. The rollers should maintain a 1/4 inch minimum clearance to the ground to reduce the likelihood of encountering these problems. Now that you have properly adjusted the cutting height, you can familiarize yourself with the various functions of the motion control levers. To go forward, follow these simple steps. With the drive levers in the neutral lock position, move the speed control or shift the transmission lever to the desired forward speed. Please note that the hydro walk-behinds have a separate park brake lever that must be released before moving the speed control lever out of neutral. For pistol grip units, gently squeeze and hold both drive levers in the neutral position and move both neutral lock latches to the drive position. Slowly release the levers to engage the drive wheels. For ECS units, squeeze the drive levers while placing your thumbs on the outer tabs of the thumb latches. Push the latches forward, moving them out from under the drive levers. Slowly release both drive levers to engage the drive wheels. On a belt drive walk-behind, shift the transmission to reverse. Move the drive levers to the drive position and pull the mower backwards. If you need more power when backing the unit, gently push down on the drive levers. Please note that the reverse gear is a reverse assist only. As a result, the mower may not back up without the operator's help. To back a hydro walk-behind up, simply squeeze the drive levers past the neutral point and into reverse. For smooth operation, avoid quick, jerky movements of the drive levers. To stop your belt drive walk-behind, squeeze the drive levers back to engage the brakes. Move the thumb latches to the neutral lock or park brake position and shift the transmission to neutral. To stop your hydro walk-behind, squeeze the drive levers back to the neutral position. Please note that squeezing the drive levers all the way back will cause the unit to back up. Move the thumb locks to the neutral lock position, the speed control lever to neutral, and engage the park brake. Although it is less common with walk-behinds, turning may create some issues for operators unfamiliar with this type of equipment. They occasionally state that their mowers tear the turf when turning. In order to reduce the frequency of this problem, it is important that you know how to properly execute a turn. To turn right, squeeze the right-hand drive lever while moving forward. To turn left, squeeze the left-hand drive lever while moving forward. To make a zero turn with your hydro walk-behind, squeeze either the left or right-hand drive lever back into the reverse position, while the opposite drive lever is in a forward position. Notice how one wheel spins in one direction while the other spins in the opposite direction. This allows you to turn the machine sharply without damaging the turf. Now watch as the operator executes an incorrect zero turn. Look at how one of the rear tires grips and tears the turf. To reduce the likelihood of this problem, always keep both tires turning when executing a zero turn. To mow with your Exmark walk-behind, make sure the area is clear. Set the throttle to 1/2. Push the blade engagement arm forward or pull out the blade engagement switch. Shift the transmission or move the speed control lever to the desired speed. Move the drive levers to the drive position, accelerate to full throttle, and begin mowing. Never operate our walk-behinds with the discharge chute or deflector raised unless you are using a grass collection system or mulching kit. In this video, the discharge chute is shown in the raised position in some operations because there is a mulching kit installed. To stop, squeeze the drive levers into the neutral lock position. Move the neutral lock latches into the neutral lock position and release the drive levers. Move the speed control lever or shift the transmission to neutral. Throttle back to an idle. Pull the blade engagement arm up and back or push the blade engagement switch in to turn the blades off. Set the park brake and rotate the ignition switch to the off position or move the throttle to the stop position. If applicable, remove the key. Finally, close the fuel shutoff valve when transporting the unit or when the mower is not being used for an extended period of time. Here are some tips you can follow to make your mowing experience safe and productive. Mow only in daylight or good artificial light. Never operate the mower with damaged or missing guards, shields, or covers. Mowing with the discharge chute up is not advised unless you're using our micro-mulch system. Always be conscious of where the discharge chute is pointing when side discharging the grass. If people enter your working area, stop the unit and shut the blades off until they have passed. Never accept any passengers. Keep hands, feet, and clothing away from the rotating parts. Stop the blades when crossing surfaces other than grass and when transporting the mower to and from the area being mowed. If you have a mechanical problem with your hydro walk-behind which prevents it from mowing, it may be necessary to release the dump valves on the hydro pumps. This will allow you to freewheel the mower. Moving your hydro walk-behind without releasing the dump valves may damage the drive system and is not advisable. To release the dump valves, go to one of the 2 hydro pumps and locate the valves. With the engine off and the park brake on, turn the dump valves 1 turn counterclockwise. Turning the dump valves more than 1 turn counterclockwise may create problems with the hydro drive system. Now take the brake off and move the unit. After the mower is fixed, be sure to engage the drive wheels by rotating the dump valves 1 turn clockwise. Do not over-tighten the dump valves. This may damage the hydro pumps. Hillside Mowing presents a unique challenge for operators of all experience levels. Always use extreme caution when mowing and turning on slopes. Here are some tips for Hillside Mowing. Mowing on slopes greater than 20 degrees is not recommended. In order to determine how great a grade the slope is, please use the guide provided in your operator's manual. Use extreme caution when mowing drop-offs and slopes, especially if you are near water or the grass is wet. When mowing across a hill, always turn up the hill to reduce the likelihood of runaway. Avoid sudden starts, stops, and turns. Loss of traction may occur when mowing downhill. When mowing hills, it may be necessary to use the tracking adjustment knob to keep your hydro walk-behind from tracking downhill. The operator is always responsible for the safe operation of their mowers. To extend the life of your walk-behind, follow these steps when driving over a curb. With the blades off, drive towards the curb. Approach the curb at a 45-degree angle and slow the ground speed of your walk-behind. Now, let the machine power itself up and over the curb. For larger curbs, you may want to raise the front of the mower to make it easier to drive over the curb. To do this, simply push down on the pistol grip handles as the unit moves forward. For the ECS units, stand with your legs slightly under the handles and release the drive levers. As the mower moves forward, push down or pull down and back on the handles. Slowly allow the rear wheels to climb the curb at a 45-degree angle. When you are over the curb, gently lower the front of the mower. Using improper technique when going over a curb may damage your Exmark walk-behind. Over time, this abuse can bend the deck, blade bolts, spindle, or baffles and may result in costly repairs. Always use the proper technique when driving over a curb. At the end of your workday, there are a few things you can do to prepare your mower for another day of cutting. It is highly recommended that you remove the clippings, leaves, and debris from your walk-behind with compressed air. Many landscapers like to use their backpack blowers to do this. By using a backpack blower, they can clean their walk-behind whenever they feel it is necessary. If you are in the shop, you can use the air compressor to more thoroughly clean the mower. It is especially important that you blow the debris from under the belt shields and around the engine. Clean or scrape the grass buildup from under the deck. If necessary, wash the unit with low-pressure water. If you power wash your mower, be sure to avoid the spindle assemblies, the control panel, and any other electrical connections. After washing the walk-behind, turn the blades on for 1 to 2 minutes to purge the water from your mower. Check for loose hardware and tighten the loose hardware before operating the mower. Check the condition of the guards, shields, and covers and replace or repair them as needed. If necessary, lubricate the grease fittings with a quality grease. Please refer to the lubrication chart in the operator's manual for the location of the grease fittings. By now you know that Exmark values proper daily maintenance of our equipment. However, not all maintenance needs to be done every day. Please review all the contents we have not covered in the periodic maintenance section of the operator's manual before using this walk-behind. If you don't do the periodic maintenance, it will negate the benefits of your daily maintenance program. So it's important that you are aware of these periodic maintenance items and complete them as required. Due to the wide variety of cutting conditions throughout the United States and Canada, we offer several different types of Exmark Excalibur blades. We often encourage our customers to experiment with different blade types to customize their Exmark mower to their unique field conditions. Here are the different blades we offer. The notched airfoil is the standard factory blade and is best for most applications. It provides maximum lift and discharge velocity. It is ideal for lush grasses and takes full advantage of your engine's horsepower. Solid airfoil blades reduce flex when mowing and don't bend as easily after impact. They may help reduce blowout and will slow the discharge velocity of the clippings. Low lift blades are frequently used in areas with sandy soil. They use less horsepower, help reduce the buildup under the deck, reduce blowout, and will reduce the discharge velocity of the grass. Our mulching blades work best with our micro-mulch system and use the maximum engine horsepower to cut the clippings and drive them into the turf. In order to maximize productivity, reduce labor costs, and eliminate costly disposal fees, many customers install our micro-mulch system. Here are some tips for using our mulch system. Sharp blades are a necessity when mulching. If possible, have an extra set of blades on hand so you can change them when necessary. If the grass is tall and lush, the operator may need to double cut the area or slow down. Higher horsepower models may provide better mulching capabilities. At Exmark, we understand that there is more to a lawnmower than nuts and bolts. This is why we strive to give our customers the best possible service and support after the sale. You have several resources you can use to access more information about how to safely operate and maintain your equipment. Exmark dealers listen, assist, and support their customers before and after the sale to maximize customer satisfaction. Exmark customer support and customer service representatives quickly respond to your requests for information. They will answer your questions and offer you great technical support. If they can't help you personally, they'll put you in touch with someone who can. You can contact them Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time by dialing 1-800-667-5296. You can also contact Exmark via the internet by logging on to www.exmark.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here you can access a wealth of information like our dealer locator and The Resource, which is a comprehensive list of links to the industry's latest news and information. You'll also find specific information on all of the models in our product lineup, including exciting new Exmark riders. You can even email Exmark's sales and service departments with any questions or comments. We hope that you have learned how to safely operate your Exmark commercial mower, knowing where the controls are located, some daily maintenance checks, how to start and operate your Exmark walk-behind, and basic mowing techniques and procedures will help maximize your productivity and minimize your downtime. If you have any other questions or comments regarding our mowers or this video, feel free to contact us at 1-800-667-5296 or call your local Exmark dealer. Thanks for watching.